everyone. So, I am wondering if you often ponder the question of how do you increase client retention? Because my guess is whether you're in fitness or whether you're a wellness coach or a physical therapist or whatever space you lie in, it isn't just about getting clients in the door, it's about retaining clients, keeping them happy and meeting their needs. So, my name is Angie Miller, and I am the host of Strong Mind, Strong Body. And I'm so glad you joined me here. Today, I have Stacey Vandiver as my guest. She is the owner and CEO of SoulBody Fitness. And we are going to talk about increasing client retention by diversifying our programming. I love this talk because I really feel like this is where the money is. I cross that, I intersect that space between wellness coaching, mental health, and personal training, group fitness. I do all of the above. And I feel like that's where that diversification, both in my skill sets and in being able to meet clients' needs, keeps me happy. And more importantly, keeps my clients happy. So, Stacey, I'm going to bring you in and have you introduce yourself. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me, Angie. Really looking forward to sharing some insights here. I'm doing well, and let's see, what do you want to, where do we want to start with this?
Oh, let's just chat about today. No, I'm kidding. So I met you, Stacey, at URSA. We were both at URSA a couple of weeks ago, and it was a pleasure meeting you in person. We have a mutual friend who had told me you're going to love Stacey, and I don't know. I hope she said you're going to love Angie. I
Yes,
don't.
all
So,
good, all good.
all
Anybody
right,
in the fitness space, right? Moving
right, right.
bodies, all
Yes,
good.
her name might or might not be Jill. But anyway, so Stacey, I'm curious, what do you do exactly?
So I am the owner and CEO of SoulBody Fitness. SoulBody Fitness is a global fitness programming company, more in the mind body space. So we create classes that can be taught in health clubs and studios, license free, in the mind body space. And I mean more in classes like bar, yoga sculpt, lit, low impact interval training, thinking smarter, not harder, training your body. And then just recently, we added a recovery program class called SoulBody Restore. So these classes are choreographed. They allow clubs, studios to diversify their group exercise schedule with more programming in the mind body space, really creating consistency. As you know, instructors have a lot on their plate. So sometimes it's really nice to get a template of something that's already been choreographed, set to music, tested over and over again, and then presented to you in your inbox. So that's pretty much what we do. We just actually partnered recently with Total Gym. They have a beautiful apparatus that's called the Encompass. And so we will be bringing our online education for them, and as well as filming content and classes for instructors all over the world that are using, and studios that are using the Encompass. So I'm really excited about that recent partnership, which was what took us to URSA this year.
Wow, you have done a lot. You have a lot of great partnerships with great companies. I love the idea too that you say that you're not licensed. So you offer to me, programming that's almost like a plug and play, but that you're not saying you have to license me, but you are fitting into a space that is all the rage right now. I think we both know that because the whole URSA talk was recovery, 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 recovery. And so I love that you fit into that mind body space.
Yeah,
And I would
yeah.
imagine that you have a deep background that kind of led you to this. Is your background more group fitness, more personal training, a combination?
Good question. So I will say fitness, healthy lifestyle has always been a part of um, my world since a very young age. And when I fell into teaching myself, it was the Pilates space that I fell into and really identified to. Trained there and then discovered bar when bar was really coming out in the boutique fitness space. My former business partner and I were teaching here and in our hometown of Baltimore, and a local club approached us asked us to get their team on board, because that's when clubs started recognizing they needed to bring in classes, programs that the boutique fitness studios were doing. And even though I love having a healthy lifestyle, I also love being very creative, and I love to work and create businesses. So when that gym approached me, I definitely started looking in, saying, is there an opportunity here for a business? Is there a problem? And can we find a solution? And when I dug into the group fitness space, I noticed that gyms really only were able to turn to programming companies that have been in this space for a long time. And the boutique studios were really starting to pop up. This was in the late 2000, like 2008, 9, 10. Studios were really coming on board and challenging the gym. And noticing that there wasn't that boutique style programming out there for gyms with the consistency of choreography, that's when we started digging deep and creating the model that we have today. We started with bar. That really took off, 2 different formats, on the bar and then off the bar, and then started adding other formats in the mind body space. We have yoga sculpt, like I said. We have lit, which is low impact interval training. We really feel strongly about educating and exploring that concept of training smarter, not harder, on the body. And then just recently, you mentioned recovery. Well, we noticed there was no real class that was led about stretching. So we created SoulBody Restore. It is a beautiful class that starts with some dynamic movement to warm the body, goes into some SMR, foam rolling, and finishes with some static stretching and meditation.
Okay, so you found a niche. And I think that
Yes,
that's the whole idea of creating a business. And that is Donald Miller's whole philosophy, is find a problem and then find a solution.
you
So
got it.
is there a problem? Is there a solution I can solve? And I agree. There's a lot of branded programming out there, but it's big, big, big box programming. That doesn't always fit in as a solution to smaller boutique studios.
Yeah,
So I think that that is a message to all of us out there in the fitness and wellness spaces, is where's the problem and how do I fit in as a solution? And
yeah,
there's my business model in a nutshell. So, and if you haven't looked at any of Donald Miller's stuff, he's kind of the guru of that.
yeah,
So, Stacey, if a trainer or a group fitness instructor is listening and they are not a part of Soul Body Fitness, which both you and I are here to say that is 100% okay. I want them to have lots of takeaways, okay? Not into any one style or one program, but lots and lots of takeaways. So what would you suggest to trainers and group fitness instructors and wellness coaches? What would be like maybe one tip we can start with to help them diversify their offerings? What would you say?
a good question. So, first start with, what can I add? What can I do? So let's just take the personal trainer, for example. There are so many ways to add to your repertoire. So if you're a personal trainer, you obviously have a nice ability and connection one-on-one. I really feel strongly that it is important to know more than just movement. I have recently dug deep. I've been self-taught in the health space for a while, but really wanted to get my certification. And I've been looking at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition for many, many years. Finally, dug my feet in and did it. And now I am a certified health coach. So I can add to that kind of training. So I recommend a personal trainer to go into that world and learn how to coach beyond movement. Can you maybe connect in a group setting, starting a small group, or again, going into that group exercise space? It's really, really wonderful when you can, if you're in the gym and you're training a client. Gyms are desperately or seriously looking for or more instructors, not better, more instructors. That world has been shaken up during the pandemic and post-COVID. There's a real need for that coach that wants to be inspiring through movement, is what we say at SoulBody, inspiring through movement in a group fitness setting.
I
So look
agree.
at that.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to interject here for a minute. So
sure.
I'm thinking, first, you said, I love what you said about the coaching, that you were kind of self-teaching, and then you thought, you know what, it's time for me to go in. And the same kind of situation with me, where I'm a licensed therapist in the state. And in fact, the nation, so to speak, says that as a licensed therapist, I can also practice as a coach. So I work in both spaces. I work as a therapist, but also as a coach. But I still felt like there was value in getting a coaching certification, just because I wanted to look at coaching through the coaching lens, because I've spent so long looking at therapy through a therapeutic lens. So I did the certified wellness coaching program through NASM and became a certified wellness coach. It was very, very intriguing and very interesting to read that material through that lens. So I agree with you, Stacey. Health coaching, wellness coaching, wow, huge, huge addition for trainers and group fitness instructors. And
Yeah.
then also, to your point, the group fitness instruction if you're a trainer. And if you're a group fitness instructor, the trainer.
Yeah.
So
And you
because
know what, Angie, you could even go on group fitness instructor. Sometimes think about yoga studios or Pilates studio, and you can go and there's a yoga teacher, Pilates teacher. There you can add a diversified programming right there.
yeah,
So, and I see it a lot. It's starting to happen. The yoga studio owner, the Pilates studio owner, a gym owner will start to understand they need to diversify and add more to their programming. A yoga studio, for example, is now adding a bar on
yeah,
their wall, or they're
right.
adding a reformer to this corner. And so you can really start to expand your offerings, and there's your retention.
Yeah, I agree, because you can offer more. I mean, there's a reason why when you go to a department store, they
Yeah,
they often have a cafe inside.
yeah,
And, because gosh, you might get hungry while you're shopping. I know
yes,
I do, and I need some
yes,
coffee. And if
yes,
they want to keep me in the store, they're better if they give me a little cafe to pop in, grab some coffee, get a little snack,
absolutely.
and then give me some energy to finish
Yeah.
my shopping experience. But it is true that these boutique studios, I think, are recognizing that I can be a boutique yoga studio, and I can also have a trained Pilates instructor,
Mhm,
and I can teach self myofascial release,
mhm, mhm.
and I can be a wellness coach who understands how to target people's inhibitions or fears or the obstacles that get in their way, so that I can work within the mind as well as the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. And you know what? You think about it, we're mainly talking to trainers here through NASM, right? And they are really experienced. They dedicated themselves, dove deep into their education. You can make this vertical, this um, a, 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 um, a profession, full-time profession, and do very, very well. As soon as I actually was able to share that I have a health coaching certificate and started sharing more information within my classes when I teach, I attained clients on an individual basis and now coach one-on-one. And so that's extra revenue. And it's something that I think trainers, instructors, coaches should definitely consider doing. They're in that space already. They have access to clients already.
Right. So, Stacey, I want to reintroduce you. I'm talking to Stacey Vandiver, and she is the owner and CEO of SoulBody Fitness. We're talking about how to increase client retention by diversifying our programming. And so, we're talking to you, trainers. We're talking to you, wellness coaches, health coaches, group fitness instructors. And we're saying, what if? What if you know what you know, but there's so much more to know? And what if you could increase your offerings? And what if you're teaching a group fitness class with 50 people? And you mentioned, hey, I just became a certified wellness coach. Or you mentioned, hey, I also train one on one. Oh my gosh, you talk about, I mean, group fitness people are so darn loyal. I know I've been teaching them for over 3 decades. If I said I started baking cakes, I'm going to get 50 cake orders because they trust me and I trust them and we're loyal to each other and they want more of what I offer. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful marriage. If marriages could work as well as group fitness class relationships. Did I just say that, Stacey? Um, but
That's funny. No, but you
that's
know
what
what?
I popped
Seriously,
out of
I mean, and listen, you can get behind certain brands as well, Angie. I just became an ambassador for a company that is meal deliveries, Sakara Life, and I've been following these two girls since they started. I absolutely love what they're doing, and I decided to dive into their ambassadorship program. And the minute I mentioned this in my class, people were clamoring, tell me more, tell me more. And here's another way to increase your diversification, your revenue, and expanding your knowledge and your network. And let me
Mm,
tell you, your network is vital.
yes, it is. Yes, it
Yeah,
is. Yes, it is.
yeah,
That's why we go to spaces like URSA because we
yeah,
meet people and we increase our knowledge, and then we tell them about what we know that
yeah,
might help them. And
yeah.
so it's all about what can I do for your business and what can your business do for mine? Because we all thrive and survive better when we get along well on the playground. We're not all competition. I know there's a million
Mm,
wellness coaches, guys. I know there's a million group fitness instructors. I know there's a million trainers, but there's only one of you. And there's only one of you who does what you do the way that you do it. So don't worry about all the noise. Don't worry about all the competition. Just be you, and do your very, very best. And I promise you, you're going to find people who are going to be attracted to that. Just be authentic. So, Stacey, I want to talk about, we've talked about so much about this mind body programming, and I call it like the softer programming, because for a while we really got into the hard programming, do more in less time. And then the pandemic hit, and we're all like, I don't think so. I'm pretty tired, and my mental health means more. And all of a sudden, everybody wants to talk recovery and softer programming. And you and I had a conversation, and you said something, and it really stayed with me. And you said, because this has always been my thing, that you feel like movement is more for longevity versus aesthetics. And that's always been my thing. Having lost my mom to a dementia related disease, for me, it's always about longevity. Yeah, for sure. We all want to look the way we want to look, but that isn't what puts my foot on the accelerator when I'm on my way to the gym, ready to have a meeting with the stairmaster that I really don't want to have. What really gets me there is that whole longevity piece, and I want to do this for the long haul. So, can we talk about that for a minute? That whole idea that programming is more, that this mind body programming is more for longevity than aesthetics. Tell me
yeah.
what
We
you meant.
we could talk about that more than a minute, but for sure. I mean, if I read one more report about the change and shift of the why I'm moving my body and going to the gym or exercising online, it's for their mental health, for their mental stability. It's not so much about the aesthetics anymore. It's where I always talk about bringing our health span to match our lifespan. Right now, there's a disparity between the two. I think the average is almost 10 years. So that person is living right now about 10 years unhealthy for the last remaining part of their life. And that's really sad. It is my mission in life now to really get that education out there, get people moving, get people not just moving, but understanding their health as a whole to increase their health span. That's really, really important. And there's three major factors that are into that. It's, of course, movement, exercise, whatever you want to call it. It's nutrition, proper nutrition. I always tell my participants in class, it doesn't stop here at this in this studio where we're moving together. It
Mhm.
goes beyond these doors. So nutrition and sleep is the third one. It's really, really important that we pay attention. I know you and I just talked about that with our Aura Ring. Lots of wearables out there, but just, even if you don't have a wearable, be accountable. for yourself, start paying attention to your body and how it's working and moving.
Okay.
Um,
And I want to
so
interject here on the
yeah.
whole Oura ring. So here's mine. And this is shout out to Aura because Aura sent me a ring. It was like somewhere in the universe. They got this message that
Mm.
said, Angie, sleep is not your friend, and we want to help you with that. And so they sent me an Aura ring, and I absolutely love it. I truly love it. I literally get so jazzed when I wake up in the morning and I get to hit my little reset button on my Aura ring to see how I slept. And then I'm like, come on, Aura. The best part was, Stacey, I was at a mental health conference last year and I was presenting. And I slept really bad. I slept really bad the night before. And I guess I believe that if you still get a little anxious before a presentation, you're doing something right. You're not getting too comfortable in your space. Well, anyway, I woke up the next morning and my Aura ring says this little message to me. And basically, it's kind of like a, you know what? You slept pretty awful. But it doesn't say that. It's like, you didn't sleep so well last night, but don't worry. Tomorrow night will be better. And I was like, oh, it's like you're a therapist.
It's
I mean,
that
it
positive
was,
reinforcement.
oh my gosh,
Positive
it was the
reinforcement. I love it.
nicest message. I was like, I love you, Aura. It wasn't shaming me. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's okay. You're
Yeah.
going to do better tomorrow night. And I have to say this. It's funny because I had a sleep coach on here. And she literally said, when you don't sleep well, don't get into the space of shaming.
Mm.
Get into the mindset of, it's okay. I'll do better tomorrow.
Reset, take a break, recover.
Yes.
Yeah, take
It
a
was
break. Yeah, listen
lovely.
to your body. Exactly. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's yeah. So on my little plug for my aura, because I really felt the need to say that.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this, and you talked about movement, nutrition, sleep. Those are the three things. I'm glad you brought up the 10-year differential, not because that's a positive thing, but because we don't want to end our lifespan with our last 10 years being compromised. And so
Mhm.
we want to find that match where we live it out to the end, living as fully and living with as much potential as possible. So, Stacey, I think what I hear you say is the mind body programming is focused on recovery and sleep and nutrition. And it's saying, let's pay attention to all those things because we want to do this for the long haul. Do I have you right on that one?
Absolutely, absolutely. We need to really hone in on that, and we can sit here. I don't think we have the exact answer of how to reach that 80% yet. It is inspiration. It is education. So again, we're talking to all these trainers out there. You're touching a lot of people. If you are one-on-one, you're touching that one person that you have the ability to coach them beyond that 30 minutes you're with them, the 1 hour you're with them, continue to reach with them, figure out ways to coach them beyond that in-person time or virtual time. And then if you're a person in the small group or large group setting, um, think about your message. When you close a class, something I always do is I take time to, I always talk about our appreciation buckets and keeping them full. I ask them to pause, put something, one thing that they're grateful for in that bucket, keep it there. And I do say it doesn't stop here. So we have the ability to touch these people. It is our responsibility. Should be our mission to not just inspire through movement, but inspire beyond, inspire through health and wellness. Let's talk about that word. It's a kind of, it can be very gray right now because everybody's using it. But I think the pandemic has really tied it in full circle where people are recognizing not only that it includes the three things I just talked about, movement, nutrition, and sleep, but it's also spirituality, it's also career, it's relationships, joy. All these things become part of your wellness. So if we can start tuning into all that together and we can start inspiring people and pushing people to look at that as a whole, I think we're on path to a great messaging and success and really touching people in a more inclusive way.
I think so too,
Mm-hmm.
Stacey. And I also think that I think you and I, our mission is to say to everyone, be good, be you, do what you do best, and is there room in your life to add more? Is there room in your life to add more value for yourself and value for
Yeah.
your clients? Because I think that if, for me, again, this certified wellness coach, I was looking at it as a therapist going, honestly, if I were to be honest, I was like, what can I learn? I mean, I did motivational interviewing in my schooling. I've taken many, many workshops on short-term solution focused therapy, blah, 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 blah. So I went in a little, and yet it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I loved it and I learned, and I'm certified as a personal trainer, group fitness instructor. You probably have enough certifications to line a wall, as do I. And I love that because to me, we intersect all those spaces and we see clients differently,
Mhm.
right? We don't just
Yes,
see them
yes.
through one lens.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of times people get worried or nervous about getting started. Um, where do I begin? You know what? Focus on one thing. Think about that next step that you're going to take and take it. Don't worry about being experienced or excellent. No one started experienced or excellent. They got there from beginning and getting started. So that's really important. Don't let fear stop you. There's nothing wrong with taking that first step. Believe in yourself, trust the process,
Yeah. And
and commit. I mean, it's one thing. I share it with my family. I have 4 kids. I share it with them all the time. There's a saying from Calvin Coolidge that persistence and determination are omnipotent, and this is very true in life. And it's definitely got me to where I am now. I continue to grow as a business owner. We have lots of really cool partnerships and projects that we're working on right now. And that has come from that right there, persistence and determination.
yeah. Well, I think you
Yeah.
have to have that if you have 4 kids, Stace. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hey,
I know. It's kept me busy. It's kept me busy.
I would
God.
say so. I have 2. I'm feeling a little, well, I have 2 with 4 legs and I have 2 with 2 legs. So I mean, there you go. But Stacey, I think, we're good to stop there, but I do
Yeah.
want to say I really appreciate you coming on. Again, Stacey Vandiver, owner and CEO of SoulBody Fitness. I do think diversified programming is where it's at. I also think that when you diversify your programming, you meet other people who are diversified. I don't believe in chances. I believe people come into our world for a reason. I believe you came into my world for a reason, Stacey. And we've already had a couple of great conversations. And I'm not trying to be woo-hooey out here, but I am trying to say that I do think that networking goes a long way. I think that talking to your friends goes a long way. I think women talking to women goes a long way. I mean, Stacey, I learned so much just from talking to you. And if you learned anything from talking to me, then I did something right. So to all of you with NASM and AFA, I really appreciate you joining us. Let me know if there's a topic or a discussion that you really want to hear about, and keep doing what you love and loving what you do. Thank you, Stacey, and I'll see all of you next week.